free mind. You crazy for this. Soulful. It's like our responsibility to make us feel something. You know, to make people feel. Make people feel what we feeling. Hey, yo.
Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. This is Comics Today, a show that we do on Wednesday to celebrate the best day of the week, that being a new comic book day. And I want to say to everyone out there, Happy New Year to you. It feels like a very long time since I actually went live. And I have missed you. I have missed all of you. And I want to thank those folks that have been checking out the video content that has been released during the holidays. I think I've gone viral for the second time. I think that I've gone viral. I don't actually know the definition of viral, but I do know that more than 200,000 people have seen a video that I released yesterday about a congressman taking the oath of office on a copy of Superman issue #1. I'll be completely honest with you. I recorded that video after working out, and I was literally sitting on the exercise bike as I was recording that. I had no clue what was going to happen. 200,000 views later, and lots of really interesting comments. I think I could say that I've gone viral for the second time. The first time was the video that I released on the artificial intelligence stuff. When these videos go out there into the world and they get as big as they are, they extend beyond the comic book community. And so with that comes a lot of points of view and a lot of opinions that certainly are not shared by people that watch this channel on a regular and frequent basis. So I just throw this out there as a cautionary note. If you haven't seen that clip on Instagram, it is now on YouTube. But I would just say wade into the waters of the comment section very carefully, because the water is deep. But again, Happy New Year to everybody out there. Part of the reason why we do this show on Wednesday is to basically celebrate the best day of the week, that being New Comic Book Day. And I want to go to the chat here momentarily to find out what it is that you all may have picked up at your LCSs earlier today. And as a reminder, this does not necessarily have to be a brand new book. If you want to shout it out, it can be a new to you book. But if you picked up something today and you had a chance to read it or not, let me know what you picked up. If you want to shout out your LCS, we want to know that as well, because again, this is a celebration of New Comic Book Day, and LCSs are a huge part of that. That is, after all, how many of us actually access our comics. So I want to go to the chat real quick to see what it is that you guys may have picked up. I'm kind of scrolling through here to see a lot of brother. The waters, the world's wide waters are very deep, and there's a lot of people out there with a whole lot of opinions out there. Matt Woods, I will not watch that video. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. That is not my jam, sir. That is not my jam. It's good to see you, Matt Woods. Tina's up in here. Tina, it is good to see you. Victor Perez, how you doing, brother? Trev, the shipping guru. Randy Resnake, how you doing, brother? Trev has a YouTube channel. I think I knew that, but then I forgot it, but then I remembered it when I saw one of your videos the other day. Trev, it's good to see you. My man, Seth, how you doing, brother? Just sent me a message a few moments ago. Doug, it is good to see you, my friend. Doug says, Matt, I'll pass. No offense. Matt's not the kind of guy that takes offense. You know what I'm saying? He's cool. He's cool. You watch and you don't. And clearly you and I, Doug, will not be watching at all. We will not be watching that. Doug, it is good to see you. I have a package, Doug, that I'm going to be sending you tomorrow, just as soon as I box it up. Scrolling through Fight the Good Fight. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. My man, Philtastic. Happy New Year to you and the family. Turbo Todd, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Eyes is up in here. It's good to see you, brother. Tim, shout out to Mythical Mountain Comics in Jacksonville, Florida. But did you buy anything, sir? Did you buy anything? from the comic shop in Jacksonville, Florida. Tim, it's good to see you, brother. Welcome. Picked up, what is that? Picked up Batman 131, which was great. Also picked up Geiger graphic novel from Nirvana. Shout out Nirvana in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's what's up. I've heard nothing but great things about that shop. They supported Isolation issue number 1 big time, and I'm very thankful for that. But I've heard nothing but wonderful things about Nirvana. Scrolling through, Chuck, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Had Vault of Evil 15 CGC 9.6 come in from a My Comic Shop auction. You cannot go wrong. I love some mycomicshop.com, man. No doubt about that one. Kevin, how you doing, brother? He says, alas, I have not picked up anything. However, my LCS told me my next CGC order is going to be in next week. That's a win, sir. That, sir, is a win. Anytime CGC shows up, that is a good thing. I had a panic attack yesterday. Kevin, had a panic attack. I was sitting on the sofa, and I remember sending a book off to CGC, but I do not remember getting that book back. I had a panic attack. I was like, what is going on with my comic? I checked my old orders, and sure enough, the book had come in. I just need to find it. It is somewhere. It's somewhere here in the room. I just need to find it. Steve, he says he dug through $5 bins and found a nice copy of Grimm's Ghost Stories number 40. That's what's up. Congrats to you. That is definitely not a new book, but it is a new to you book, and we celebrate that. Scrolling through the comment section, scrolling through, what is that? Got DC and Marvel Encyclopedia 2021 version for Christmas. That's what's up, Victor. Whoever gave you that loves you. Okay. They clearly love you. There is no doubt about that. Claimed 6 books for my LCS this week, all from last week's late shipment. That's what's up. Well, Boar, it's good to see you, brother. My Canadian brothers up there. Alex, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Picked up 2 cool Battlestar Galactica books. That's what's up. Very cool. Scrolling through. Oh no, don't do not encourage that. Do not encourage that, sir. All right. So couple of things I want to give you guys a heads up on. Isolation is in. Isolation issue number 2 is in. The book's set for 5 days. They set for 5 days, and I do not remember what part of the country, but just finally arrived. I immediately went over and picked them up in the middle of a thunderstorm. And the people at the dock took pity on me because I showed up wearing a very thin jacket. And as I mentioned, it was raining. They were like, we are going to help you not get soaking wet. They literally helped me to load the car full of not just Isolation issue number 2, but also the Guide to Smart Comic Collecting. Both of those are in, and I have already dropped off the first shipment to the mailbox. I dropped the first set of orders off. Those orders are en route to several people across the country right now. What I will tell you is that if you ordered the premium cover F, I will not be sending you anything from your order just yet. The reason being, I have to go through all of the cover Fs. I have to inspect them. I have to individually bag and board them. I have to then mail them to Doug in New Jersey, who has to then sign them and send them back to me. Once I get them back, I will then process all orders that have a F cover in them. Now, if you don't want it signed, that's a whole nother story, but I assume that people want them all signed. So bear with me. I'm going to continue processing through the night orders that do not have cover F. If you have cover F, you have to be a little bit more patient. I will absolutely get to you, but a lot of orders have already gone out and more will go out tomorrow. Certainly, if you want to get a copy of Isolation issue number 1 or issue number 2 or the Guide to Smart Comic Collecting, either cover A or cover B, head over to regiecollects.com. That stuff is available to you right now. There you go. Shout out Cap and Can Comics up in Canada. If you are Canadian and you want a comic, you can reach out to them. They have a lot of copies on hand. Only cover A is available at Captain Can Comics in Canada. So if you want a cover A, you can reach out to them and maybe cut down on some of your costs for importation, shipping fees, all that kind of stuff. It is available to you there. Their order came in to them today. So just recognize that. All right. A couple of other things I want to announce. We have done away with the podcast. The podcast has been shut down, and I'll explain in a moment. The podcast episodes will still be available for whatever period of time. I've already paid for the subscription, and I don't know when it expires. It might be August. Episodes will be available, but no new content will be posted up. The other change that I decided to make around the time of GarageCon, as you guys know, I cut back on filming for a little while because I was trying to get myself together. And it was during this time that I decided to cut back on the podcast and also on the Sunday show. The Ready, Set, Go preview show has been terminated. We are cutting that back. I'm going to keep this show, Comics Today. I was vacillating between which one to keep. I decided to keep Comics Today, but the Ready, Set, Go preview show is no more. If you'll recall, we added this show, Comics Today, on Wednesday during the pandemic. There were a lot of people that were at home, that were coming back to the hobby, that were consuming large amounts of content because they had nothing else to do, right? And so I introduced the second show to offer something up to people that were ready to consume comic book content. With the pandemic abating, people going back to normal everyday lives, not as many people are tuning in to the live shows. As you can see, there's 77 people here now. Before, we had 150, 200, as many as 200 people tuning into the live shows. So as a result of fewer people tuning in to the live show, I'm going to cut back on the live show. So the Sunday is no more. There is a tremendous amount of cost that comes in with me taking time away from the family to do the shows, with the podcast, to edit it, to make it available, to pay for the hosting. There's cost associated with that. And with people not watching and consuming as much content, people pulling back on Patreon, it makes sense to make adjustments and cuts. I think everybody completely understands that, because in your own lives, many of you are also holding on to the dollars that you have. And so me as a content creator, I'll also have to do the same. And I think everybody will understand that. And certainly if people want to talk about it, you guys can reach out to me. I am always willing to have a conversation about some things. So I wanted to make sure I informed people of that. All right. So there's a comment about the X-Men wall. This is not an X-Men wall, sir. This is not an X-Men wall. There's a couple of Miles Morales books. This is a combination of things. This is technically a mutant / Mark Bagley tribute wall. So over here, this panel of 6 is the no mutants, all mutants. I can't remember. Every mutant. I think it's like every mutant ever is the connecting cover back there, done by Mark Bagley. And then the books on the other side are basically 2 Mark Bagley covers. Miles Morales, right? Ultimate Fallout issue number 4, first print and second print. So the top row is basically Mark Bagley. And then the bottom row is mutant stuff. It's all mutant stuff. So you have some X-Men and you have some X-Factor. Technically, I guess it's all X-Men if you want to look at it that way. But yeah, that's what the wall is. I started out trying to do a Mark Bagley wall, and I realized that I don't have a lot of Mark Bagley covers. So I was like, well, maybe we'll just do it as a mutant thing. But then I wanted to at least give a nod to my buddy Mark Bagley. So I included the 2 Ultimate Fallout books up there. So there you go. Scrolling through Zim, I'm glad you received the books. I hope that you enjoyed them. I try to always deliver on my promises. Madam Blaster, it is good to see you. Trev, I got you, brother. I think I saw your name, and I want to say, Trev, you may have ordered cover F, which means that you'll have to wait a little bit longer for yours. But I do believe, Trev, I saw your name in there. So there you go. Liger Style, it's good to see you. Scrolling through, didn't get, wait a minute. Tim says, didn't get to the LCS today. We were at Epcot for the day. Nice house on the lake and Batman 131. There you go. That's what's up, Tim. I'm pretty sure your LCS is still going to love you when you show up there. Scrolling through, action figure. How you doing, brother? Got a stack of Batman detective trades for Christmas. That's what's up. He says his wife is awesome. Yes, indeed, she is. Scrolling through some of the comments here. I'm a little behind. I got all of my DC books from last week and this week today, says Jason. That's what's up. Had a shipment from Midtown last week. Lots of pictures from Doug's research. There you go. There you go. GOT. Scrolling through some of the comments. What is that? John Stewart, #1 was a great read this week, says Jason. That's what's up. I may have to check that out. I've been reading Hawkman from 2002 by recommendation of Joe. I think it was Joe that told me about Hawkman. So I read that. And then I also, for whatever reason, got on a Cloak and Dagger kick. So I started reading a bunch of Cloak and Dagger from the 80s. And I've been enjoying that. I was a Cloak and Dagger fan back in the day when I was much, much younger. And so I revisited a lot of those books. So scrolling through, Liger says he just got noticed that his books are being encapsulated. That's what's up. Mountain Peak Comics picked up Batman and Signal issue 3 from the world's greatest comics in Columbus, Ohio. That's what's up. He says, I was only missing 3-issue series. That's what's up. Congrats on that. Scrolling through. Kevin Pitts, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Shout out to Liberty Comics. I think I saw your name in the order section a couple of times, brother. I think I bundled some stuff up for you to be sent out. Sitting on a pile of hobby funds for a Stan Lee signed ASM 2, 3, or 4. Gotta keep that powder dry. You never know when you need to take a shot. I respect it, brother. Ooh, I love that cover. Big Face Ock. I love Big Face Ock. That is a fantastic cover, brother. Congrats on that one. Scrolling to the comments. I am way behind. Let me catch up. I am way behind. The super chat came in. Who'd that come from? Gladiator, thank you, brother. Love DC. Definitely appreciate it. He says the Robin and Superman got him in the comics. That's what's up. Welcome to the live stream, and thank you for the super chat, brother. I absolutely appreciate it. Jeff, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you, my friend. Mark Bagley, he is definitely mutant like. There is no doubt about that. Scrolling through, I can't remember again. So for those folks that are coming in late, copies of Isolation issue number 2 are in and are going out unless your order included cover F. Cover F has to be inspected, sent off to New Jersey, returned to me, then bundled up, and then mailed out to you. So if your order contained F, it will not be processed right away. All other covers are being processed. If your order was like cover A, cover B, cover C, I'm processing that. If you ordered guide, cover A, cover B, I'm processing those. But if it included F, you are going to have to bear with me as we process through getting these things sent out and then signed. Cloak and Dagger, that's what's up. You know. There you go. I did. There you go. Kevin, I saw your name a couple of times in there, brother. Thank you for your support. We definitely appreciate it. I know a lot of folks, man, are keeping their powder dry. The economy isn't the greatest. And so I recognize that. So I absolutely appreciate folks that are taking money out of their pocket to pick up copies of Isolation issue number 2 and or copies of the guide. It means a lot. And the team absolutely appreciates it. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Hawaiian punch in your face. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. We're going to talk about Dwayne Johnson here in a couple of moments. No doubt about it. We're going to get to that. We are going to get to that. What is that? I am personally excited next week because of Daredevil coming out. That's what's up. Fingers crossed that you enjoy what you get. Gladiator, definitely appreciate the super chat, brother. Absolutely appreciate it. I always appreciate when people join the live streams and also, again, take money out of their pocket to give to a worthy cause. That being Regie Collects. I absolutely appreciate it. So thank you for that. All right. So let's talk about something. What I am going to say is that before I get to this very first topic, do not send me emails, okay? Do not send me emails about this. I have one person that whenever I talk about one of these books that I'm about to talk about right now, they send me an email and they tell me that I am wrong. I use the data at my disposal, right? I use the data at my disposal. If there is better data, supply me with the data, but do not send me an email telling me that I'm wrong. And every single time I talk about one particular book, I get a message from somebody. Don't send me an email, okay? The top 10 best-selling Marvel comics. Does anybody want to take a guess as to what number 1 might be? I want to pause here. I want to pause for just a hot second to see if anybody can accurately guess what the number 1 best-selling Marvel comic of all time might be. And I will pause. For a hot second. Who said that? Bro, do not encourage people to send me emails. No, I don't mind the emails. I'll just ignore them, especially if they come from Oh No Blue. I will just ignore it. I will just ignore. A couple of people are shouting out some books here. We have what is that? ASM 361 or 300, ASM 110. Oof, 110, you greatest super villain ever. X-Men #1, X-Men #1, Darkhawk. Ooh, talk dirty to me. X-Men #1, Spider-Man #1. No, no. Never ever. Conan #24, Turok #1. Oh, woof. Ultimate Fallout #4, the facsimile edition. Let me see. A couple of Dark Hawks. Machine Man. Ooh, you cannot go wrong with some Machine Man. Sign me up. Howard the Duck. Where's Milt? Where is Milt talking about Howard the Duck issue #1? All right, so let's count it down. There are probably going to be some people that are surprised, others that are going to be surprised and not surprised. I don't know where you guys are going to land, but let's count it down. 10 best-selling Marvel comics of all time. Now, what I will tell you is that this report from CBR.com, methodology is lacking. All right, I'm gonna just put it out there. Methodology is lacking, so I'm just gonna disclaim that right from the beginning. There's no methodology. They triangulated, approximated, guesstimated what might be on the list. All right, so number 10 is Star Wars #1, the best-selling comic book of the modern age with 1 million copies in 2015. And I want to say I probably have a couple of these. I have a couple of those in the collection. I think those were polybagged. I want to say those were polybagged. I don't have these others over here. But number 10 on the list at 1 million comics is Star Wars issue #1. Scrolling down, number 9. Number 9, probably to no one's surprise, is Spider-Man issue #1 with 1.3 million copies. Todd McFarlane, shout out to him. I still have not found the version of this book with, I think it's the blue lizard. There is a blue lizard. There is a print era version of this book out there. I have a lot of copies of this in the 100K collection. I literally went through every single one trying to find a blue lizard, and I did not find one. Number 9, Spider-Man #1, $1.3 million. Number 8, X-Force 2. Now, what's really important with the second appearance of Deadpool is that this is per Rob Liefeld, okay? I said it before, the methodology of this is questionable. But Rob Liefeld said it, so it must be true. 1.4 million copies of this out there. If you have this one, if you can get it, get the newsstand version. At least get the newsstand version. The number has to be smaller. All right, scrolling down. Number 7, X-Men issue #2 sold 1.8 million. I'm sorry, let me restate. Somewhere between 1.5 and 1.8 million copies. This one also has a newsstand. I have one copy super damaged, and I think I have one really nice copy newsstand of this in the collection, and then a bunch of just direct editions. X-Men #2. Number 6, this one honestly surprised me. I did not see this one coming. Punisher 2099. Did not see this. Again, an unofficial number. Over 1.7 million copies of this. The book was later canceled after about 3 years. Did not know that they printed this many. I know that there was a lot of those 2099 books at various points. I did not know Punisher was that popular to warrant that many copies. Spider-Man issue #26, the holographic cover, $1.7 million in 1992. And so far, a lot of these are in 90s, 91, 92, 91. What is that? 90 and 2015. No wonder comics went bust. No, there's lots of reasons why that happened. All right, so you can't go wrong with Spider-Man. You certainly can't go wrong with a holographic cover. That screams 90s to me. Speaking of 2099, number 4 is Spider-Man 2099. Number 1. There were over 1.7 million copies of this book sold. Number 3, Venom Lethal Protector, another shiny foil cover. There's a lot of copies of this out there being graded as well. This book has consistently shown up on my CGC most submitted video list for more than a year. I think every single month this book has been on there for more than a year. Venom Lethal Protector, over 1.7 million copies sold. Again, an unofficial number. Number 2, X-Force. Number 1, another Rob Liefeld book. 500, what is that? 5 million copies, unofficial but accepted. I really don't know what that means, but from the headline, you can see that it held the record for 2 months before it was supplanted by number 1. And a lot of people have already guessed it. X-Men issue number 1. X-Men issue number 1, 8.1 million copies of this book sold in 1991. And I think that's across all covers. There were 5 covers? There were 4 connecting covers. And then there was the connected cover. And I think it's across all of those covers, 8.1 million copies. How many ended up in the trash or the landfill? I do not know. I do know that I have a lot of copies in the 100K collection. Again, with this one, if you can get this in a newsstand, that is by far the best way to go. I have a full set of the connecting covers at a 9.8 newsstand. X-Men issue number 1. Again, this is the book that someone messages me about every single time that I talk about it. Tina's like, I got that one right. Tina's like, I got that one right. Jeff, who doesn't love the 90s, brother? Come on, man. I literally fell into the crazy. I have all these books, multiple copies. You're not the only one, sir. Okay, you are not the only one. Nope, fake news. It's Conan number 24, says Matt Wood. Yeah. So here's the funny thing, man. I sat down and I talked with Chris Claremont a couple of years ago, and he actually gave me an unofficial breakdown of how he was compensated for X-Men. And he made a significant amount of money. And this was like off the record, right? It was off the record. The microphone was on, but it was still off the record. They got paid handsomely for their work. And I'm talking about the writer, the artist, the inker, the letterer. They all got paid, which I think is wonderful. Shocker. What's really interesting is that article does point out the fact that the mess that is comic book distribution is part of the reason why it's very difficult to triangulate exactly how many copies of comics have been sold over the decades, because it's a very fragmented distribution network. Even now, it's very fragmented, which makes it a real challenge to understand how many books are actually being sold. And the best that we have is Chromicon, but Chromicon is Diamond, and not all books are distributed by Diamond. And so even now, we have a fragmented system that makes it a real challenge to understand how many copies were sold. We certainly don't know how many are printed, but we have some insight into how many is sold, but that all has to be taken with a grain of salt. Is 8.1 confirmed by Rob? No, I think the 8.1 is probably that is a long held number. Like, I've seen that number repeatedly referenced. It could be off and people just reference it because they have nothing else. I don't know, but I've consistently seen 8.1 million copies of that book. So scrolling through, let me see. I do not have, we need to correct this, sir. We need to correct this, because every collector has to have at least 12 copies of X-Men issue number 1, Spider-Man number 1, Turok number 1, and Darkhawk number 1. Those are must-have comics. New video coming soon. scrolling through the comments here. Let me see. I think Chris bought a plane. Hey, man, that was one of the highlights of my YouTube career, the day that I spent with Chris Claremont and his wife. Just fantastic people. I thoroughly enjoyed my conversation with them, the insight that he offered, the anecdotal stories. I mean, the man is just a fountain of just knowledge and just history. And it was really cool. It's really cool. So if you bought a plane, a boat, I don't care what, a skiff, it's all good. It's all good. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Jim Lee and the Top Father really changed the whole comic industry. I would not disagree with that. I would not disagree with that. I think that you also have to throw in the other members of Image as well, because I think that neither one of these men did it alone, right? I think that they had a lot of help from other people. You know, what I don't want is to be in the situation where people like talk about Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee the way that they talk about Stan Lee. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important that we spread the wealth and we acknowledge that, yeah, these dudes, they made some magic happen, but they also did not do it alone. Not to take anything away from your comment, Scarecrow, but I've been reading a lot of this stuff about Stan Lee, man, on his birthday. It kind of got to me just a little bit. Scrolling through some of the comments here, I don't really know what that means. I'm not really sure what that means, bro. You may have to help me out. I may need some texture around that, George. Rob Liefeld actually did confirm that he's number 2 to the X-Men number 1 on his Whatnot stream a few months back. Yeah, well, you know, because the number 1 is well established. So, you know, you can't be greater than number 1. But, you know, again, Rob said it. It must be true. I haven't personally looked up the numbers to be able to dispute them. So scrolling through, scrolling through. If you guys are in the live stream right now and you have not hit the thumbs up button, I definitely want to encourage you to do that right now. It is good for the algorithm. It's also good for my soul. So go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. And if you are watching this and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do that. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and that way you do not miss out on any of the content that I release from the channel. It says I buy some new books from Regie. RegieCollects.com. There's plenty of books up there on the website, RegieCollects.com. You couldn't pay me to Mr. Comic. That's because you're all about ASM, sir. We all know you're all about the Spider-Man. It's okay. It's okay for you to like other characters. I'm not saying it has to be Turok, but, you know, scrolling through some of the comments, I have... Well done. Scrolling through. I am scrolling through the comments here. I am way behind. I am not going to read that one out loud because there's a lot of people out there that love Rob Liefeld. And I don't want that smoke. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want that smoke. Scrolling through. Again, another comment that I will not repeat. I will not repeat it, but I will put it up on screen for others to enjoy. So for those folks that are coming in late, we made some changes to the channel. We are doing away with the podcast that was being released every single Monday. We are also doing away with the Ready, Set, Go preview show that was running on Sunday night, primarily because a lot of people are going back to their lives, right? A lot of people are enjoying life again, going out and doing things, and they are pulling back on the consumption of YouTube content. So it doesn't make sense for me to continue to put up some of that content at the cost to me, to my family, etc. And so we're going to pull back on some of those things. We also spent some time running down the best-selling Marvel comics of all time. So if you came in a little late and you missed that, you can always catch that on Rewind. And Matt Woods, just throw that out there for no good reason. I'm gonna just throw out Matt Woods for you guys. All right. So earlier today, an article came out. I was waiting for my daughter to finish up gymnastics, and an article came out on Variety that caught my attention. Now, with this article, I feel like we have now learned a lot about what happened with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Black Adam. And some of the things that we learned today are things that I assumed based on like me connecting the dots of things that were said out there, right? So we have confirmation of some things that I've assumed, and we also have some confirmation of some things that I think were unknown to us before about what all happened with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Black Adam, and Henry Cavill. And this article that came out on Variety, I think, is a really solid article. And if I remember, I will put a link to it in the description of the video so that you guys can check it out for yourselves. But I believe that a lot has been confirmed, and I want to spend a little bit of time talking about various parts of this. So previously, I had alluded to the fact that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson actually went behind the back of Walter Hamada, who was the president or head or whatever of the DC studios, right? Or whatever it was called, right? He was the president of everything that was happening with DC Comics, movies, TV shows, that kind of stuff. We knew that he went behind his back to basically get Henry Cavill into Black Adam. But we know a little bit more today. We know who he spoke with. We know who approved Henry Cavill to be in Black Adam, and we know a whole lot of more stuff. So let me break some of this down. And so this is, let me try to share my screen here. And again, I want to try to take some of this stuff piecemeal because there is a lot here. So this is the article right here on Variety: Secret Meetings, Tequila, and Black Adam versus Superman, how Dwayne Johnson's bid for DC power flamed out. And again, this is a really interesting article that came out earlier today around noon today. So I want to make this a little bit larger so that I can focus my attention and your attention on this section right here. So it says, not long after Warner Brothers Discovery merger closed in April, Dwayne Johnson directly pitched CEO David Zaslav on a multi-year plan for Black Adam and a Henry Cavill-led Superman multi-year plan in which the two properties would interweave, setting up a Superman versus Black Adam showdown. And what's really interesting is that one of the producers for this is a guy named Hiram Garcia, who is Dwayne Johnson's former brother-in-law. And I should also mention that Henry Cavill's agent at the time was Dwayne Johnson's ex-wife. So Dwayne went to David Zaslav behind the back of Walter Hamada, pitching an idea for Black Adam Superman multi-year story arc that would ultimately benefit a lot of people that he's somewhat close to and has some ties to. Let me see. Other sources confirmed the meeting, but downplayed any discussion of Black Adam's future. So this meeting did indeed happen. And that's part of the way that, again, Henry Cavill ended up in here. And it says, although the move took place amid a power vacuum created as former DC head Walter Hamada and others were preparing to leave, Dwayne went around everyone, which did not sit well. And this is, again, an unknown source that is basically saying to them, this maneuver did not sit well. I think it also highlights in here that it actually ruffled some people's feathers. I think that was another part of it in here. But it says eventually the new co-heads of Warner Brothers actually approved Henry coming back for a cameo. It was never to, again, according to this, never to come back permanently, but it was as a cameo. Now, this next part is important. They had already made a decision going back to 2018 to find another actor to actually be Superman. They decided this back in 2018. Dwayne did an end around, got it approved, but it was only for a cameo. It was not to don the cape long term. And again, they had already made a decision to move in a completely different direction. And again, it says right here, it ruffled feathers internally. Dwayne went around everyone, which did not sit well. And that's something that I alluded to before. Again, if Peter Safran and James Gunn are coming in, they're seeing this end around happen. They're hearing internally, people are like, this did not sit well with any of us. That does not sit well with new leadership. And that's something that I've spoken about several times before. But scrolling down, the article kind of goes on to say that some of the challenges here is that the movie just underperformed. And we have some details as to financially how it may have underperformed. We previously knew that the budget for this movie was $195 million, right? What we did not know is that there were $40 million in reshoots. I did not know that. I thought it was still 195. It is now a total of $235 million to make the movie, excluding marketing and advertising, which could be, I don't know, another 100 million. I don't know how much it costs to market this movie, but the movie basically in theaters made $391 million. So you have somebody backdooring leadership, finagling a deal, getting part of the thing okayed for a cameo, and then ultimately the movie costing a lot more money to produce and then underperforming in a lot of ways. And I think the article actually kind of points out here that it did underperform in the minds of a lot of people, especially versus other movies which don't cost as much and might make the same amount of money, but the profit margin is actually there. So I think this other part is important. It says, meanwhile, the Johnson-Warner relationship already was wearing thin after The Rock pushed for producing credit on the animated film Super Pets, which opened in July but did little to promote it. The other thing is that he insisted on a tequila bar at the premiere of Black Adam for his tequila, Terramana, even though the movie was rated PG. Again, these are all things that I don't know that we knew before. I don't know that we knew all of these details, but it's a thing of, in my mind, relationships should be collaborative. And it doesn't necessarily seem like this one was. And even if he had pushed for these things, if the movie had made a lot more money, people would have been forgiving, but it didn't. You're difficult to work with, right? And you're not producing. That is basically the gist of what this article kind of points out to. And I'll see whether, yeah, here it is. His demands increased and the returns just weren't there. And so again, I think that this is maybe some of the stuff that we did not know before. And part of the reason why I wanted to highlight this is because I've been saying repeatedly that maybe we need to give Peter Safran and James Gunn a little bit more time than 2 months on the job to sort some things out. And maybe we should not blame them for what happened with Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill technically has been out since 2018. Technically, he has been out since 2018. Somebody pushed for some stuff to happen. He got part of it, didn't get the rest of it. I don't know that we should hang that on James Gunn and Peter Safran. I say give them a chance. But again, this is all really interesting information that, again, we did not have just weeks ago. So I wanted to make sure that I shared some of this stuff with you guys. All right, let me go to the chat real quick. Movies aren't just for The Rock, he says. I think we need to hire The Rock to play the Thing. Would only make sense. There is a lot of sense to that, sir. There is a lot to, I mean, again, what this article didn't point out was that he also turned down an opportunity to be in the Shazam sequel. And I think there was one other movie that he could have appeared in, but he decided not to. Again, these are all things that don't necessarily sit well with people when you're not necessarily being a team player. The other part of it is, I'll say it, you never know what the future holds, right? Some of this stuff, man, they may sweep it under the rug. If they see an opportunity to make a movie and make some money, they may say, you know what, forget about it. Let's make some magic happen. A lot of it comes down to, can you make money? And in this case, it does not appear that that is what happened. So it was all bad timing. Scrolling through, Alex says DC has been playing catch up with Marvel for a cinematic universe for the better part of the last 10 years. I really don't think the public will be swayed to DC. I don't know. We'll see, man. I still want to remain positive, Alex, to be honest with you. I think that there is a lot of love for certain DC characters, right? And if James Gunn and Peter Safran can release something that resonates with people, I think that they have a chance. I really do think that they have a chance. If they put out a good movie and followed by another good movie, followed by another good movie, I think that people could be swayed. I really do. I really do think. But a lot of it, a lot of it will depend upon whether they can put out some good movies. And I think this article pointed out the fact that Ezra Miller, while he might be a scumbag, has, since he entered treatment for mental health issues, I don't think that he's been in trouble, which I think is a good thing, right? He has made a lot of mistakes, a lot of questionable decisions, a lot of things that potentially should land him in jail. But he hasn't been in trouble. He seems to be cleaning himself up, which I think is a good thing. WB seems to still be behind releasing his movie along with Blue Beetle. I think Peacemaker is still on the table. There is some momentum, right? I say give them some time to make some magic happen. DC has good writing. There you go. Scrolling through, when you see a Rock movie, you know it's The Rock. Like, it's always The Rock. It's never not him. It's always him. And you go into it expecting that, right? Scrolling through, people are ready for good DC. Do not disagree with a single word of that. And I think if they are able to put out some good movies, people can get on board. At the end of the day, that's all people want. Just give me a good movie. Just give me a good movie and I can get on board. I really want DC movies that I'm excited to see. The characters have so much potential. Do not disagree with that. Do not disagree. There's been some screening feedback of the Blue Beetle, and the screening feedback has been positive. Fingers crossed that ultimately results in a good movie coming out. And I want to say that at some point in the near term, we are going to hear from James Gunn and Peter Safran. They have put together a 3-year plan that we are supposed to see. Folks may be wondering why a 3-year plan. I think part of it is year one technically is already done. They already have, I want to say, like 4 movies that are already planned for at least 1 year, like Blue Beetle, Flash, and I don't remember what the other movies are, but Aquaman, maybe one of them. But they already have essentially one plan. 3-year plan, 4 years that gets them to the end of their term. And so I think they're going to be presenting this 3-year plan for this integrated universe, leveraging the movies that are already going to be created for year one. They presented this plan to the CEO of Discovery, I want to say in December. At some point, those plans will become public, and we will be able to evaluate from that whether they have a future, and fingers crossed that they do indeed have a solid plan and that they start to produce some good movies. For folks that are coming in late, we are spending some time talking about how The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, did himself a disservice. And I was trying to share my screen. Let me share my screen one more time. So this is an article that appeared on Variety earlier today. Talks about secret meetings, tequila, and Black Adam versus Superman, how Dwayne Johnson's bid for DC power flamed out. Back in April, after the merger of DC, Warner Brothers and Discovery, Dwayne and his team went in to try to make a pitch to David Zaslav on like what the future could be for Black Adam and Superman. Those plans didn't necessarily result in anything positive, as we've heard about the dismissal of him primarily, because again, I don't think Henry Cavill was ever actually back on board. His deal, if you will, was only for a cameo, and I think he was paid $250,000 for that cameo, like 1 week of work, 2 weeks of work, something like that. I would do that in a heartbeat. Okay. I would do that in a heartbeat. Somebody pay me that kind of money to show up just for a little bit. Yeah, I'm ready for a DC shared vision. It's been too long and I'm getting old, says Trev, the shipping guru. Brother, you're still young at heart. Still young at heart, my friend, and that's what really matters. No one is going to blame Ezra Miller for being a fake, says Frog Brawler. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Yeah, I mean, man, again, anything that gets him to stop doing some of the stuff that he may have been doing with underage children, man. I mean, that's just tough. Like that's tough. So they've done whatever it is that they've done. If the guy is guilty of certain things, I think he should absolutely go to jail. I think he should absolutely go to jail. If the stuff is true, I think he should go to jail. Not that I doubt it. Not that I doubt it. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Let me see. Peacemaker was good. I think a lot of people like Peacemaker. I think a lot of people like that. And I do believe that Peacemaker is still on the table and should be coming back. A lot of uncertainty still around Wonder Woman. I don't know where that one's going to go, to be honest with you. I think James Gunn has said that it will be built on Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and there was one other, Harley Quinn. Those are the 4. Not to say that those are the only 4, but he was saying that the universe is going to be built upon them. And you might wonder why Harley Quinn. She's incredibly popular. Incredibly popular. No one should doubt that. That character is well received by a lot of folks. I will tell you that a lot of women like to dress up as Harley Quinn. Scrolling through Climbing Comics, Alan, it is good to see you, brother. No doubt about it. Ezra is going to pull some good PR when the film comes out. No doubt about it. There is a plan. There is a plan. He is being kept quiet, choosing to be quiet, sedated. I don't know. But there will be a heavy positive press push when this movie drops. I think it's still set for June 23rd, which is the day before my birthday. I think that that's still going to happen. DC Movies has a lot of problems coming from their actors, too much drama. I don't know if I would agree with that. I don't know if I would agree with that, because technically, who are their actors at this point, right? I would say that the actors that they have on board aren't saying much in the negative at all. What was that guy? Zachary, the guy that plays Shazam. He did a piece just the other day that I thought was well done. He released something on social media that I thought was incredibly well done. But the actors that are actually contracted, I don't think that they have too much drama around them, to be honest with you. Scrolling to, I want them to do something with Deathstroke. That's been something that's been rumored. We shall see. We shall see what will happen. Kevin Feige will never hire The Rock, says Austin. Should Dave be talking? I mean, should he be? I don't know. I'm gonna leave that up to others to decide. Let me scrolling through some of the comments here. Let me see. DC just needs to take the time they need to reset, and doing a Kingdom Come movie to help with the reset will be absolutely great. I don't know. What's his name? James Gunn has hinted at all kinds of stuff. He's hinted at Kingdom Come. He's hinted at I can't remember, Lobo. Like, he's hinted at all kinds of stuff. Who the heck knows? Until he makes an announcement, I don't think we're ever really going to know what the plan actually is. But fingers crossed that we do get some insight soon. Kevin Feige may hire Henry Cavill, though. There is that possibility. There's a lot of people that are saying Henry Cavill as a Sentry. I don't know. I guess we will see. Bautista has been going after non-meathead superhero roles for a while now, outside of Drax, says Alex. Scrolling through the comments. Okay, I think I'm all caught up. All right. So again, for those folks that came in a little bit late, we spent some time talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Again, I like Dwayne. There's no doubt about that. I am a fan. All right. So because people brought up Dave Bautista, I thought that I would spend a little bit of time talking about him. He did an interview with GQ recently, and he basically has said he is done with Drax. He is done with Drax the Destroyer. It is over now that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I think, has officially wrapped up. This is another article that came out earlier today. Let me see if I can find it. He says, I am so grateful for Drax. I love him, but there's a relief that it's over. It wasn't all pleasant. It was hard playing that role. The makeup process was beating me down, and I just don't know if I want Drax to be my legacy. It's a silly performance, and I want to do more dramatic stuff. I think someone literally just said that a hot second ago. I think it was Alex that made mention of that. So yes, Dave Bautista is basically saying he is done playing Drax the Destroyer. I think he is grateful for the role and the opportunity that character afforded him. But I think my guess is that he was contracted all the way through this one. Now that contract is over, I guess he wants to go on and do some other things. And I've seen Bautista in some other movies. Not terrible, not a terrible actor, to be honest with you. He is such a big guy that there's only certain roles that I think he's going to be able to play because he is so large, you know. But I wish him nothing but the best. I've enjoyed his Drax the Destroyer. So fingers crossed. And what's really interesting is that this article on comicbook.com actually points out that Drax is one of the Marvel characters that would be easiest to recast if needed, since in the comics, he's been reinvented, revived multiple times with different power sets and maybe even looks slightly different. So they're like, hey, if Dave Bautista doesn't want to do it and you have a need for Drax the Destroyer, just recast him and let another actor take the opportunity. I'm not sure what people think about that, because a lot of folks do not like when characters are recast, but I don't know that people have that same kind of love for Drax the Destroyer. Like, I don't know that that affinity for him is there, but I am definitely curious as to what people think about that. But if you are here in the live stream right now and you have not smashed the thumbs up button, I definitely want to encourage you to do so. And if you are here and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do that right now. The last thing that I will say to you is that copies of Isolation issue number 2 are in. I am processing through orders as best I can. I am sending out orders. I sent some out today. I will send out more tomorrow. If you ordered the Guide to Smart Comic Collecting issue cover A or B, I am also processing those as well. If you have not placed an order, you can actually place that order on the website regiecollects.com, because again, now things are real time in terms of their processing. All right, so let me scroll through real quick. Smash it. Smash it. Oh, I think that article also said that at least 1 or 2 of the Guardians of the Galaxy will die. They will die in volume 3. I don't know if that is unknown to people, but I think that is actually going down there. Somebody's going to die. Thank you, Seth. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, man, we appreciate folks. Doug, would you cast Rock in Isolation? Yes. If we can afford Rock, that means that we can afford to actually do a movie. Yes. We had nibbles. We had nibbles of possibly this thing getting optioned. That went nowhere. But if Dwayne, if you are watching, we would love for you to come and help us to turn Isolation into a movie. That would be fantastic. Movie, TV show, small movie, big movie, won't matter to me. Let's just make it happen. With that said, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me a little bit. I hope that you enjoyed the show. As always, if you need to reach out to me for whatever reason, you can do that on Instagram. And if you still want to chat a little bit more, head over to the Discord server, because I am confident there will be people there talking about comics and all the stuff. The Discord is free and it is linked in the description of this video. Take care.
My body ate itself until it found its passion. They got fat while we starved, but it's power in fasting. Until I turn to ashes, I remain stoic through my rap heroics. I painted 10,000 poems, then I drank the potion of poetry and motion. I started choking, it was potent. My throat chakra downloaded, knowledge hungry. I was embarrassed I could ask my parents for money when I had a full tummy. So I asked for wisdom, better than crypto, sweeter than honey. I don't take it for granted, I don't wear capes and masks.